Hi, my name is Liz and this is the Pink Lookbook. While everybody was looking to Paris last week for the fashion shows, there was actually another fashion-related event going on in India. Today I'm going to cover the pre-wedding event of Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant, which just took place in Gujarat in India. Yes, you heard correctly, this was just a pre-wedding event to announce their wedding in July, but nevertheless, this event made international news. The who is who of India was attending and there were also international guests. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg and also Rhianna who performed, and there were quite a few fashion moments which I would like to discuss today. And if you're not so clued in on Indian celebrities, let me quickly introduce those two families to you. Radhika Merchant is the daughter of Sheila and Viren Merchant, who own Encore Healthcare, which is a pharmaceuticals company, and Radhika Merchant is also involved in this. Anant Ambani comes from the famous Ambani family, who owns Reliance Industries, and this is a conglomerate operating in different fields such as petrochemicals, oil and gas, retail or financial services. According to Forbes, his father Mukesh Ambani is the richest Indian and also among the top 10 richest people in the world. And you may have heard about Nita and Mukesh Ambani in the fashion world last year because they opened the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center last year in Mumbai and hosted a big event where the who is who of the fashion industry also attended. There are a lot of different views on this pre-wedding event itself, which I'm not going to cover. I'm solely focusing on the fashion aspect of this event. In this video, I'm going to discuss selected outfits. It's always a challenge to narrow down the outfits I'm going to discuss because with Indian weddings or Indian events, there would be so much to discuss, the colors, the craftsmanship, the jewelry, but this would go beyond the scope of this video. If you have outfits which you would like to share because you like them or maybe even dislike them, let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear your opinion. Before I discuss the outfits in more detail, I would like to mention that Indian designer Manish Malhotra was not only in charge of designing selected outfits for the families, but also was he in charge of the overall venue itself. And he said he was inspired by a mix of France and India. He wanted to create a so-called Moulin Rouge theme. So he was inspired by Moulin Rouge, and there was actually a red windmill similar to the one on top of the cabaret in Paris. And Mela comes from the Hindi word for fair, so we already see this mix reflected in the name Moulin Rouge. Of course, on one of the days, red was one of the major colors. For all those of you who are not too familiar with Indian designers, which you should by the way because they're pretty amazing, let me quickly introduce Manish Malhotra to you. He started his career creating costumes for movies, and in 2005 he founded his own label. And it is also not a coincidence that he was so present at this pre-wedding event by the Ambanis, because Reliance Industries holds a 40% stake in his business, so naturally they are going to push their own business at this pre-wedding event as well. Now let's look into the outfits and let's also briefly discuss the groom-to-be. Anant Ambani was seen in a Bordeaux colored sherwani by Manish Malhotra, which was heavily embroidered. It was also embellished with Swarovski crystals, and the jungle motif actually referred to Vantara, which is a 3,000-acre sanctuary for animals, which Anant Ambani recently launched in Gujarat as well. Of course, also the bride-to-be wore Manish Malhotra. She wore a beautiful golden ensemble embellished with over 20,000 Swarovski crystals, and more than 70 artisans were involved in creating this dress. Needless to say, it's very beautiful, but was this the dress that caught our attention? I'm not so sure. The dress which made international headlines was a custom Versace dress, which was actually an adaptation of a dress Blake Lively wore to the Met Gala in 2022. In that year, the theme of the Met Gala was a gilded age, and Blake Lively's dress was a reference of New York architecture, for example, the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty. Back then, I liked the body of the dress, let's put it like this, but this big bow in the beginning kind of ruined the look for me. And when Blake Lively then opened up this dress on the steps of the Met, it had this very long train in turquoise for this effect for the photographers of the Met Gala, but this color combination kind of killed the look for me. I don't know if there's a story behind the choice of Radhika Merchant for this particular dress, but I have to say I like this interpretation because it looks a bit younger, a bit fresher, and it actually took all the parts that I liked from the Blake Lively dress. To greet the guests during the day, Radhika Merchant wore a gagra, a long skirt by Abu Jani and Sandeep Khoshla, and a Western style blouse. And it featured Shikankari embroidery, which I personally really like because it's a very delicate type of embroidery which comes from the Indian region of Lucknow. And probably the outfit that you have also seen online was a more traditional one for the main function in pastel colors by Tarun Tahilyani. Now let's look at the sister of the groom-to-be, Isha Ambani, who was styled by Anita Ambani for the whole weekend. And let's start with a look for the cocktail. It was a custom-made lehenga by Miss Sohi Couture, and it was embroidered with 3D blossoms, which I found really, really beautiful. I'm not so sure about this big stole that she was also wearing, but the lehenga itself was very beautiful. Isha Ambani also wore Western designs. For example, one was Louis Vuitton and one was Chanel. Both of them I find okayish. With the Chanel, I have the problem that I think the jewelry is a bit much with it. I would be interested what you think about this. For the red theme that I mentioned before, Isha Ambani opted for Manish Malhotra. She wore a red embellished lehenga with a short jacket, and probably most people noticed the big emerald jewelry. And for the more traditional outfit, Isha Ambani again wore Manish Malhotra, and Malhotra opted for Kanchipuram silk, which is a very fine silk weave from the Indian region of Tamil Nadu, and usually this silk weave is worn for special occasions such as weddings. And to make this silk weave even more special, Malhotra added Sardozi embroidery. This is a very old type of embroidery. It originated in Persia and then moved to Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent, and it's an embroidery using metals, very often gold or silver, but also beads, pearls, or even gemstones. Needless to say, all of these outfits are very grand, very beautiful, what we expect from such an event, but actually the outfit that caught my attention was a casual outfit created by Jodi. It is a set of shorts and a very wide blouse paired with a white tank top, and I really like the colors. It's orange, it's purple, it's a custom block print. It just looked really fun, and it's actually funny because I only noticed that this pre-wedding event was going on because of that outfit. I hope that Jodi is going to produce this or include this also in their collection so that we can all buy this block print outfit. Another outfit which I would like to briefly mention here is Isha Ambani's outfit for the Jungle Fever party, because I found it quite interesting. It was a mix of casual and glamour. It was Alexander McQueen and Kanika Goyal. It was these cargo pants paired with a corset style top, which was very glamorous, and it also had this interesting detail on the top. I mentioned Isha Ambani's golden Manish Malhotra ensemble before, and similarly, Anant Ambani's mother, Nita Ambani, also wore a golden Manish Malhotra ensemble for the same function, also from the same weave. The difference was that the border was then decorated with Sardozi embroidery, but probably Nita Ambani's jewelry stole the show because everybody was focusing on the big emerald jewelry, and a small detail, or not so small detail, that you may have overlooked is a ring with a heritage diamond called Mirror Paradise. This diamond is 52.28 carats. It's flawless, and it's said to be worth over $6 million. In my opinion, one of the most interesting outfits was Manish Malhotra's creation for Shloka Mehta, who is the sister-in-law of Anant Ambani. And this lehenga featured cage cutouts, that's how the designer called it, and it also had holographic Swarovski crystals, and this whole outfit took over 8,000 hours to make. In general, I actually think that she had some of the most interesting outfits, because there were also some outfits that mixed Western brands and Indian designers. The outfit by Abu Jani and Sandeep Khoshla for this more traditional look I found okay. What I actually liked was the pastel colored sari by Manish Malhotra. Now let's look at the guests. As I said before, I can only talk about a few of them here. There would be so many to discuss, but feel free to drop your favorites in the comments below. Let's look at actress Kareena Kapoor Khan in Ritu Kumar. In general, I'm a big fan of Ritu Kumar because she has done a lot for Indian fashion, but I'm not so sure about this particular outfit. But why I wanted to show it here is the jewelry, because quite a few people mentioned online that Kareena Kapoor Khan is re-wearing her bridal jewelry here. And for all those of you who are not too familiar with Indian bridal jewelry, usually the bride wears her bridal jewelry only once in her life, or maybe at a function of a close family member when they get married, but you rarely wear this jewelry again. And she is now re-wearing it. This is an upcoming trend that a lot of people have been doing, and I actually think it makes sense. You have this beautiful jewelry, why should it just be locked away at home if you can actually wear it and enjoy it? And I actually preferred Kareena Kapoor Khan in the pastel purple outfit created by Tarun Tahiliani. And in line with this heritage theme of one of the functions, actress Sonam Kapoor opted for a traditional attire from the Ladakh region. This was brought to life together with the label Namza Couture, which focuses on Ladakhi textiles, and the actress wore the mogos, which is a gown-like attire, in brocade green, and then she paired it with a pink stole, which is called bok, and usually this stole is made from silk or goat skin to keep people in the Ladakh region warm. Kapoor's outfit was made from silk by artisans in the Benares region, and when you look closely you can see a phoenix and a crane. The phoenix stands for vitality and wisdom, and the crane for prosperity and peace. Now let's take a look at the international guests. As I said before, Rhianna performed, and she wore an outfit by the Attico, which I'm not going to discuss. I would like to share a picture from the airport because I spotted quite an interesting accessory. She wore a pashmina shawl in this turquoise color with the so-called Sozni embroidery, and I have an example here. Sozni embroidery is a very delicate type of embroidery which is practiced in Kashmir, and if it's done well, it is very hard to tell the front from the back. And as I said in my video about Kashmir Explained, pashmina is a very fine grade of cashmere, so usually these shawls or stoles, they are very precious. They are sometimes given as presents, and some of them can cost multiple thousands of euros depending on the craftsmanship. If you want to learn more about this type of shawl or stole or this type of embroidery, let me know in the comments below, then I will prepare another video about this. The last example I would like to discuss here is Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Dr. Priscilla Chan, because they wore Rahul Mishra, and as you may know, I'm a big fan of Rahul Mishra's work. I love the designs, I love the workmanship and the embroidery. Mark Zuckerberg wore a tiger shirt from the Couture 2023 collection, and I have to say Dr. Priscilla Chan in this lenga just looked amazing. And this was my video about the pre-wedding event of the Ambani family. We have seen quite a few big names in fashion. I would have appreciated if we had seen a bigger variety in designers, maybe also more independent labels, but I filmed this video right after the event. Maybe there are more pictures online by now where we see guests in different designers. As I said before, I could only focus on selected outfits. If there are some outfits that you liked or even disliked, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also head over to thepinklookbook.com for more fashion related articles. Today I wore a jacket by my own fashion label Pelagona, which you can also check out. And if you liked this video, I'm also sure that you would enjoy watching my other video about how India influenced global fashion. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it despite my voice. As you may have heard, I was a bit sick when doing this, but I filmed this right after the event. I wanted to bring this to you as soon as possible. So thank you again, and see you in my next video.